welcome to the very first Babies First podcast. I'm Traci Stumpf, joined by Dr. Ruchi Gupta. Dr. Ruchi Gupta is a board certified pediatrician. She's like the cream of the crop when it comes to pediatricians. And I know this because I have a baby and I have a pediatrician and I still email her.
That is not true, but thank you for that amazing introduction. I am a pediatrician. Every pediatrician is amazing and works really hard, but I am really excited because I get to be cream of the crop because I get to be here with Traci talking to you guys about all kinds of really cool stuff.
Yeah, I'm so excited about this. We kind of came up with this idea because, I mean, I'm a new mom. My daughter is, 10-ish months. And like, it's just a whirlwind of insanity. It's a disaster. I mean, all I can speak to is the first year, but it's just been so crazy. And Ruchi, you're a mom and a doctor. And we were like, why don't we join forces and kind of be a common voice for moms and dads and parents out there who have all these questions and all these concerns. And like, why not join forces and bring you guys this masterpiece?
Right. And I am an old mom, not a young mom like Traci. My kids are 18 and 14, but had
that. All that means to me is that you have kept children alive. Like that's a huge, every single morning I'm like, she's breathing. Like that's 18 and 14 years is incredible.
Yeah. I am proud of that. That's about all I've done is keep them alive. Yeah. But it's the same issues for everybody, right? Like we're all going through this and we all aren't sure what we're doing and if we're doing it right or wrong. And so I love being able to be here with you, Traci, to answer some of those really important questions.
Yeah, I'm actually really, really excited about this just because I know I have so many anxieties and so many questions and like I'm filled to the brim with books and, advice from other people and Facebook mom groups and my mom. Like I want to be a centering voice for people where, there's somebody who's living it right now and then somebody who lived it. And I mean, you're currently living it, but like with a baby, you've lived it before. And you also see babies every single day. So you are a plethora of information. And every single month, we're going to bring in a new expert, a new guest. Today, I'm really excited about this episode because today's all about mom guilt, which like, why is there so much of that? Are you still experiencing mom guilt?
Oh,
18 years later?
All the time.
What was the last thing that you felt really guilty about with your grown children?
Oh my goodness. Where do I start? With grown children, it's a totally different set of problems because your guilt kind of comes from, should I let him do this? Should I not? What's going to end up happening? It's more significant than, babies are so hard, but it's all on you. And now it's like this interplay between teenagers and parents, so it's a different kind of guilt, but it's always there nonstop.
How do you deal with it? Like, how do you deal with the mom guilt with older kids? What's your technique besides drinking?
That works. But I really think, and one of the biggest messages I think we need to get across to moms is you got to let it go, right? Because you're doing the best you can. And there is no perfect mom and perfect dad. And, everyone is doing everything they can that they know. And I think doing exactly what people are doing right now, listening, talking about what the issues are, what is the science, if there is any behind the decisions you're making. But, for a long time, you'd always be guilty. I remember when I was, your age, Traci, I would always feel bad, like going to work or staying home, like you're always feeling guilt either to your work or to your kids. And it's always there. And at some point you just have to let it be what it is. And I completely agree with that. For me, like, I think guilt it festers in your body when you don't talk about it, like you start feeling guilt when you don't express and communicate, when you think you're the only person, you're isolated in a room by yourself. I think that's when you really feel the weight of the guilt. So I'm hoping like today we've got a bunch of questions from our audience. We've got an incredible newborn care specialist and postpartum doula coming on later on to just like kind of answer all of these questions, kind of relieve us of the weight of guilt. Because I think once we start talking about it and once we understand that everybody's feeling the same way, the guilt is gone. Like then it just becomes a feeling. Yes. And when you can talk about it and laugh about it. But Traci, what do you have guilt over?
Well, right now, the thing that I'm really struggling with is my daughter's 11 months and she's 10 months. I just hired a nanny for the first time. I've been doing it. Well, I had Laura who's coming on, who helped me at night when I first had her, but now is the first time that I've had help. And my guilt is that I don't feel guilty for having help. Like all my friends are like, oh my God, it's just so hard, like leaving your baby with somebody. Right. And I'm like, no, like I don't feel bad about it. Like, I feel like my daughter Lois and I like need a break from each other. Like we need space to miss each other. And I feel so bad that I don't feel bad about it. Is that horrible? Like even saying it out loud, I'm like, take my mom card away. Like what?
Feeling guilty for not feeling guilty. But I totally get you. And, that comes back to quality time versus quantity time, right? And having quality time for your kids, but quality time for yourself and your interests and your life is also very important, because that's going to make you, have better quality time when you're with your kids. So oh,
I love that.
And guilty for not feeling guilty is a double negative, which means you got to get rid of it. And now you're not guilty. Yes.
Yeah. I got to tell you, having help is a game changer. Like it's truly the best. And at the end of the day, when I do get to hang out with my kid, I'm like, oh, look at this. We love each other. I'm not annoyed with you. You smell good to me again. Like all of the things, like I feel like we're way more in alignment with each other than we were when it's just like 10 months straight, 24 hours a day, her and me. And it's just, I already feel less resentment.
Yep. And that's such an important topic that you just brought up, because I think in some way we're all feeling guilty for enjoying some time away. And that is not anything to feel guilty about. Actually, that is so healthy for you.
Right.
And,
right.
If you can really understand that piece, how good that is for you, because self-care lets you take better care of other people,
so you got to fill your cup.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. You can't give what you don't have. Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm going to choose to let it go right now and not feel guilty for not feeling guilty.
All right. We took care of you, Traci. Now
I appreciate it. This has been incredible for my life. Thanks, guys. Well, I would love to bring on our guest and see what she has to say about the world of mom guilt. I am actually very, very excited that Laura is coming on today. She's a very good friend of mine. And as I said before, she helped me out when I had my daughter. She was my doula. Well, it was a stupid pandemic. I don't know if anybody's heard of this thing, but we weren't allowed doulas in the hospital, but she was phenomenal. And she like coached me over FaceTime, which is an incredible gift. She is a lactation consultant. She's a newborn care specialist, sleep trainer. She is just the person that just makes you not want to jump off of a cliff. Like that's what should be on her business card, is like human that doesn't make you want to end it all when you have a baby. Let's bring her on. Laura Stockton. Technology.
Hi.
Laura Lee.
It's Laura Lee now.
Laura Lee.
But that's fine. I'm married, so
she got married. She got all wifed up.
That's right.
Hi,
how
Laura.
are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Tired. A little tired.
Is it because of your child, or is it because of all the childs that you raise at night? All the babies that you raise at night.
I mean, it's a combination of all the things, right?
Yeah.
None of us get enough sleep. So
yeah, get some help. You'll sleep great.
No, I am the help.
You're truly such a lifesaver. Ruchi, did you have any help when you got home with your kids, or did you kind of take it on all by yourself because you knew what you were doing?
Yeah, no, I did not know what I was doing. And can I tell you, when my husband's an OB and I'm a pediatrician, right? And we had our first, when my son was born.
Did he deliver your son?
No.
That's good. Boundaries.
No way. But I remember when we went to the hospital, all he kept saying is please put in the epidural now, put in an epidural. But when we got home, it was really interesting because, one of the first things we said is, knowing as much as we know as medical professionals, no one told us how hard this baby thing is. And I tell that to all my patients. I'm a pediatrician and I had such a hard time. I mean, there is so much to learn and so much you don't know, and you're so sleep deprived. And, the whole breastfeeding thing, oh my goodness, it was so hard. And
what a nightmare.
And here you're the person who's talking to families about this. And it totally changed my practice because all of a sudden, you're like, nobody told me how hard it was. Everyone's just all excited. Oh, you're going to have a baby. That's so great. Like they should say, this is going to be tough. And these are going to be like some real challenges, and everybody has them. And so I think going back to that whole guilt thing, I did not have help. I mean, it was the two of us mainly. And I'd have help during the day when I went to work, when I went back to work, but not at night, which is so, so important.
It's so important because it's at night when like everything goes crazy. Like the baby's fine during the day, but then like they start witching hour around 7. And then Laura comes in at 10 and it's just like, you're just hair on fire, crying, milk. It's awful. It's awful. And it's supposed to be magical. And it's not.
Yeah, that's the number one thing when I deal with new parents is that you have this beautiful baby and you have all the support in the hospital with the nurses and the doctors and everything. And then they send you home and it's like, well, what do we do now?
Yeah.
You don't really know. And you're affected. Lactation, there are some, as a lactation counselor, there are so many people that I talk to that literally say, well, this was supposed to be natural and easy. And it was she's supposed to just latch on and everything goes perfectly. And truth of the matter is it takes work and perseverance and support and help and the guilt of not being able to feed your baby, or the guilt of having to bottle feed and breastfeed, or exclusively pump, or bottle feed solely, or maybe you had complications. All of that stuff falls into play with guilt, because we hear it all the time, breast is best, but they don't tell you how to get there. They just tell you that it is. It's like, well, great.
Oh man. I remember bringing Lois home from the hospital and she was in the NICU for a while, and she wouldn't, like at the NICU, they give you like these fire hose of a bottle of just like Infamil. And she's just like used to this like number 4 nipple, just like giving her all of this milk. And I just couldn't do it. And so I remember Laura was like so gentle with me and so kind. She's like, well, we're going to try something. And she got a syringe and she like tricked Lois into thinking the syringe was the bottle. And then she like put my boob in her mouth and she's like, see, and then it worked. It was great. But I like the guilt that came along with not being able to supply sustenance for my child is horrific.
Oh. I am so with you. I mean, I remember I'm a pediatrician here. I was already a pediatrician when I had my son, went to this other pediatrician, and he was like, no, breast is best, of course. And so, I'm like, oh yeah, 100%, I'm going to do it. This is it. This is what I believe in. But it was my son, he was just the hungriest kid. He still is, at 18, like every 2 hours. But back then, like I could not keep up, and I was feeding, and then I was pumping, and then I wasn't sleeping because you just feed, pump, ready for feed again. And I was going crazy. And so he was like, no, you can do it. You can do it. And then, I had a lactation consultant, which again, not everybody can do. I mean, we were in training and they're expensive, but I did all that and I still couldn't keep up. And the guilt, like being a pediatrician and I can't do this. And then I finally was like, forget it. And did bottle and breast. And, I would lie to him. That's it. I'd go to the pediatrician. Oh, it's going great. It's going great. He's fine. He's like, oh, look at that. He's growing. And I'm like, yep. And then, what are you going to do? Either you feel guilty and I got to go tell him again, or I just lie and do what I want. So I
love that you lied to your pediatrician. Oh my God. That is, pour one out for you. That is incredible. That's the best.
It's so important, right? Like now, like my whole spiel is you need to take care of yourself. And if you can make it work, but they will be okay. Your baby will be fine. And so number one, take care of yourself. Don't drive yourself crazy, over this. So I don't know, Laura, if you have other tips.
No, I completely agree. I always tell my clients, just do your best and let go of the rest, because your best is enough. It's enough. And we don't hear that enough. Especially on the social media, you get all kinds of mom shaming, like, oh, you didn't breastfeed. Oh, you bottle. Like, who cares? We as women need to support ourselves. We as birthing people, whether you are, a mom, a trans woman, whatever, any way that you have a baby, we need to support you in this culture. And we just don't do that. And unfortunately, it can cause like worsening in postpartum depression. It can cause a worsening in your marital relationships. It can cause all kinds of things, when in actuality, you just want to hug a new mom and be like, you're doing great. Your baby's still alive. You're winning. So and it doesn't matter how you get her there. It doesn't matter how you get your baby to success. When obviously, Ruchi, you made it to success at 18. So it doesn't matter how you get there, as long as you get there.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think that's really true. And like, there's such a stigma around formula. Chrissy Teigen tweeted the other day, she's like, I'm going to get backlash for this, but #normalize formula. And it's like, everybody's like on this like normalized breastfeeding kick. And it's like, no, normalize just feeding your baby. Who cares? Who cares? I had such a hard time going from breastfeeding to formula, because I was like, the dairy, the cows, are they organic? But like, the truth is, like, I was drinking like White Claw, like she's probably better off with Happy Baby organic than she is with like my like milkshakes and White Claw. Ugh. Is that a thing, Laura? Like, how messed up is my baby going to be because I had a couple of drinks while I was breastfeeding? She good?
She's going to be fine. Honestly, like, there are some cultures that drink all the way through pregnancy, and there are some cultures who eat sushi all the way through pregnancy, and there are some cultures who like it doesn't really matter. I mean, do we want you to be heavily drinking while you're breastfeeding? Probably not, right? Probably. Don't go out and do shots till 4 a.m.
Right.
Not smart. But like a glass of wine.
Oh my God, who's staying up till 4 a.m. with a baby? I went to bed at 7:45 last night, and tonight probably for sure. So Laura, can you like walk us through kind of like what you do, just for the people at home who don't know?
Absolutely. So I'm a newborn care specialist. I'm also a birth doula, a sleep trainer, and lactation counselor. So all of those things, essentially, I get you when you're pregnant. I walk you through all your perinatal, prenatal stuff. And then we together help bring your baby into the world. And then I come to you at night. I educate you on anything that you need to know about your newborn, any newborn reflexes, how to feed. I'm there with you. Sometimes I'm actually even holding breasts and babies and massaging and pump parts and doing all the things that go along with breastfeeding. And
it's
then
intimate.
Teaching. It's very intimate. It's a very personal relationship that you have with your newborn care specialist, because a lot of times we're talking about, your postpartum body and how, maybe you're down there, doesn't feel great. It feels like, a dumpster fire, and that's okay. And how long is that going to last? And is that going to last forever? Because that really sucks. And no, it's not going to last forever. My job is essentially just easing you into parenthood and giving you the best start you could possibly have, whatever that looks like for each individual family.
I love that. So
everyone needs one of you, Laura. Everyone.
Why is this not part of insurance? Like, that's my big question. Like, why is this not just a thing that every single human who has a baby get? Like, I'm so baffled by this. I'm a pretty well-equipped individual, and so is my husband. And we got this baby home, and we were like, why did they give us this? Like, without
instructions, no instructions.
I'm like at a loss for words with how hard the first 6, I mean, the whole process is hard, but the first 6 weeks especially is so hard. And I just talk about guilt, man. Like it's every corner of the first 6 weeks is just, you just feel bad about something. And like, you're expected to keep this thing alive while you just like, you know?
Yeah.
It's unfair.
Recovery, you're absolutely right. Recovery is hard, and it does lead to a lot of guilt. Like, why isn't my baby doing what other babies are doing? Or my best friend just called and she had a baby at the same time and breastfeeding's going great for her, but it sucks for me. Or the best friend whose breastfeeding is going great feels guilty even saying her joy and expressing that because her other friend is suffering, and it's a lot.
Yeah, I have a good friend who has a 2-week-old baby now, and she texts me. She's like, I'm never breastfeeding again. And she's like, I'm fine with it. And I was like, that is what we need more of. We need more people being just like, and like, just the reassurance and just being like, I'm done. Like, I'm done with this. I love that.
I mean, you just need people to know, and all of us to support each other, right? Like in terms of, you make your decision that's good for you. And whatever that is, you know, society should support you. And that's it, you know, like no one needs to be guilting each other one way or the other for any decisions that are made. And that's something we gotta make happen, you know? Like,
Laura, what do you see that new moms, like, what do you think they're the most guilty? Like, what do you feel like they hold on to the most guilt-wise? Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the idea of doing it right, the idea of being, you know, the best for your baby and your husband and society. And some of these moms are going back to work really quickly. So they're trying to rush everything together and make sure that they have the most time with their baby and give them everything all at once, to the point where they're self-sacrificing, where they're, you know, taking no showers, they're not eating right, they're not drinking enough water, they're doing all these things. And it feels, at the end of the day, it sort of feels like, when you do finally make it through that first year, like you, Traci, you get to a place that says, I don't even know how to, I need a break. You know, I need some space away from my baby, because I've given you so much of myself, and I've given my husband, my partner, my life, so much of who I am. I don't even know who I am anymore. And you start to sort of revisit that. And I think that is what I see the most for moms, is just trying to do it right. And honestly, there's no specific way to do it. Yes, there's, like you said, Ruchi, there's plenty of evidence-based scientific information that's going to lead us down a path, but every mom and every baby's path is different. And the idea that we're all somehow going to do it the right way, I mean,
it's exhausting.
Look, our kids, exhausting.
It's
100%.
exhausting. And you know, I look back. But
no, I was just going to add to that, Laura, and say the couple things that I also see, and you're completely, you know, absolutely right on. But the couple things early that I see that moms do feel guilty about, and that are so real, is feeling sad when they should be happy, right? This whole idea of postpartum depression is so real. And you wonder, you're like, well, this is supposed to be the happiest time in my life. And, you know, like, here I have everything, you know, I love this baby, but why am I feeling so down? Right. And so I do want to just point that out, because it is so important, because you try to, you know, get through it and on your own. And that is, you know, something that we actually check for now in newborn visits with moms. And I think it's becoming, people are more aware of it, but I just want to throw that out there, because early on, that postpartum depression is so real. And it's your body, it's your hormones, right? It's not like you're actually sad that, you know, like for any other reason. And having a baby is a lot of stress, and all the work that goes along with it. Breastfeeding, like you mentioned. And then the third piece that I was going to just mention is sleeping, you know, the whole idea of where do you put your baby, and co-sleeping versus bassinet by your bed, by crib in another room. And I think that throws, you know, moms off too, because the farther you have to walk, you know, the less sleep you're going to get. You're up. And how do you make it so that you can actually sleep? Because like the whole idea of sleeping with your baby and your rhythms together has been such a natural thing in the world. And no, we don't want any, you know, any babies getting hurt, but like, how do you keep that? Because I do feel like you get that sleep deprivation increases too sometimes, like with the whole regulations we have around sleep. So those are sleep, postpartum depression, and breastfeeding. I think like right away are 3 big things that concern parents.
I mean, even just like looking back on the past year, I'm 10 months out of it and I still feel guilty about those 3 things. I look back and I'm like, I should have been more present for my baby. Like, I can't remember everything was just like a dark haze. Breastfeeding was a gosh darn nightmare. And then sleeping, I'm like, what did you even say? I felt bad when I slept. I felt bad when I didn't sleep. Like, guys, you are not alone out there. We have some audience questions for you 2 experts, if you're willing to take a stab at these mom guilt questions. So the first one is, how much FaceTime is too much FaceTime for my 3-month-old per week, per day, per hour, whatever? We've got 3 sets of grandparents and they like to watch him while he's doing tummy time. I mean, we all feel for parents right now because we're in a global health pandemic. It's very hard to like get grandparents in front of new babies. So we use screens to kind of connect the dots, but like how much screen time is too much screen time for a tiny baby?
Laura, I could first, you want me to?
Well, I think FaceTime, and correct me if I'm wrong, FaceTime is very different than like putting them in front of little Einsteins or whatever other TV show you want to put them in front of, because they're actually engaging with a person. And yes, there's a screen that is blocking them, but it is more engagement, and it isn't, it is beneficial in some senses. And really at this point, what choice do we have? If you want to share your baby with your parents who are maybe COVID sensitive, that's the way to do it. And how much time is too much time? I don't know, Ruchi, how much?
Yeah, I am 100% with you, Laura. Like, I don't know. I mean, you can leave your phone on FaceTime, let them watch the baby all day if they want. Like, I don't think that, like, the baby typically doesn't just fixate on it, right? And if they're fixating, they're doing their own thing, right? The grandparents are just watching the baby. And if they are looking directly at the baby, you said it right. They like to engage, and they're smiling, and they're looking in their eyes, and they're watching their facial expressions. All of that is very positive. So
we can mark this as guilt-free.
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 Okay, that's good. That's good. FaceTime away, my friends. At what age would you recommend putting up blackout shades for a baby? Our little one doesn't sleep very well, wakes up about 3 or 4 times a night, and then doesn't take naps for longer than 30 minutes. Oh God, do it now. Put the shades up now. To get him down, I also breastfeed him, which I have guilt about, and that's setting him up for bad sleep habits. Blackout shades, I will say, I'm no expert by any means, but my good God in heaven, I love a blackout shade. I keep my kids' room so dark and so cold with so many sound machines. And it's like, she loves a slumber. Like, she's a great sleeper, and I credit all of those things.
Absolutely. I mean, that's good, healthy sleep hygiene, right? We want it dark. We want it cold. The AAP says 68 to 70 degrees. We want white noise. It started right away. Blackout right away. Don't feel guilty about breastfeeding to sleep. Like, breastfeeding is so much more than just feeding. There's really never a point when you should feel guilty about breastfeeding. And sleep habits are easy to correct later on when your baby's a little bit older. And it's total, but blackout right away. Dark, right away. Cold, loud. Those are all great.
It's the best. That's how, I mean, I like go in there to check in, make sure she's breathing in the middle of the night. I'm like, I could live in this. I could sleep well in here. All right. My 11-month-old is still eating purees. Oh, Ruchi, this is going for you. My 11-month-old is still eating purees. I know she should be chewing. I just picture her as a CEO only drinking smoothies because I never taught her how to chew.
Which is not such a bad thing.
Yeah, it's cute. It's a cute look.
But, yes. Babies go at their own pace. And it's good to introduce them to different foods and let them play with it, try it, little Cheerio type things, finger foods, but you got to wait and see. Like, so certain foods, they'll start getting the pincer grasp and they'll be able to hold it, and then they'll take it to their mouth, and if they're not, purees, I don't know if this mom has tried other foods and her baby's just not interested. And so is just doing purees, which is what the baby wants, and it will change. They will not be on purees for the rest of their life. My daughter was the pickiest eater and was the exact same way. And they do learn. Also, where are they in their development in terms of, those pincer grasp and chewing, and how many teeth do they have? And are they having pain from their teeth? Like all of those teething pains, there's so much to it. So please don't worry, but a CEO on shakes is not the end of the world.
No, I think it's kind of a good look. Okay. I think we got time for like one or two more questions. So here's a dark one. I got in a huge fight with my partner in front of my 4-month-old son. He totally picked up on our energy and started crying and had a horrible night's sleep that night. My mom guilt is so real right now. What do we do? What did I do to my baby? Is this the worst thing in the world to fight in front of your kid/baby? Probably not great, right?
That's
probably
a rough
not
one.
ideal.
That's a rough one.
It happens though. Like,
But
listen,
again, you have.
yeah, sorry, I'm not getting defensive. Maybe sometimes we fight in front of our baby too.
Yeah.
But like, I understand this. I relate to this because especially right now, we're in such tight quarters with each other. There's not a lot of room to go to work. Everybody's working from home, and like you live with your coworker, your partner, your friend. It bottles up.
Yeah. So you have not injured them for life. You have not set them back at all. But yes, they do pick up on it, and they do throughout their childhood. Sometimes it happens. That's kind of life, but as much as you can try to avoid, if you're going to argue or fight, go to another room, try to step away, try not to get too loud and angry, if you can keep it down. Yeah, you're right. I mean, this time is harder than any other, and we're all on top of each other and with each other and driving each other crazy. So, but at 4 months, you have not, set them back at all. But yeah, that's something that all parents, really do their best to work on and try not to do too much even as the child grows. But like, occasionally if it's going to happen, you're human, you're real.
Well, I almost feel like screaming. I'm not much of a screamer, but like I am like let's, and then you like kind of like alter your energy. And I think my daughter at least picks up on that more than straight, like being real with your emotions. She more picks up on like the passive aggressiveness than she does the downright. Again, I'm not a big yeller, but like the anger.
Yeah,
For
they
sure.
can.
I think.
Yeah. Go ahead, Laura. Yeah.
I definitely think that babies are barometers for emotion, right? They read what we feel and how we're feeling. And my favorite phrase to say to my husband when we start to get heated is, we have to table this for later. And that way we can deal with my son and move him away, but let go of the guilt. I mean, your baby's a part of your family as much as you are a part of theirs. You have to realize that you're going to live this life together. And sometimes we're not always going to be our best selves. And so you have to let go of that guilt. Otherwise it's just going to compound. And every time you have a fight, you're going to compound on top of that guilt already. And it's just going to make it worse.
Sometimes I put my baby to bed at 5:30 p.m. so I can get work done. I draw the blinds in the apartment and make it really dark, so she thinks it's later. Sad face. I always feel really guilty about it, but she sleeps great. And I know she's tired. I just feel like the worst mom for doing this to her.
Now that is
early.
That's like ridiculous guilt. That you should not ever feel bad about that. If your baby's tired and they're sleeping well and you're actually getting a couple hours to yourself to do work or to watch a TV show or to chill out and have a glass of wine, whatever, you deserve that. That is your time. And that is no guilt for that.
Yeah.
Laura?
You'll probably pay for it and she'll probably wake up
guilt.
at 5:30 in the morning.
Guilt-free.
Guilt-free.
But maybe not. Guilt-free. Let
Guilt-free.
it go. Let it go. You don't need it.
I mean, Laura, I think you said it the
Doesn't serve
best.
you.
Do your best and let go of the rest. I think that's a beautiful just catchphrase to sum up mom guilt. Do your best, let go of the rest. That is, let's all get neck tattoos with that just to remind each other. We all are doing our best. Nobody goes into this being like, I'm going to half-ass this. Like we all are like, I'm going to try my best. And I think our babies, just the way they pick up on fighting energy, I think they pick up on that too. And honestly, they're going to be fine. Right?
Going to be fine.
My other big one is I just want to, I love that, but also, you can't give what you don't have. So you got to give yourself like rest and relaxation and
Yeah.
love and
Yeah.
and then you're just such a better mom. So all that guilt about, oh, you know, I'm putting them to bed early or I'm not spending time with them, you know, you got to fill yourself up, and then you just are so much better when you're with them.
Yeah.
So
And ask for help. Ask for help. If you need it, don't be ashamed. Ask for help. We're here. Like there is resources for you. Please reach out, ask for help, find someone in your area.
Right. Well, I feel significantly less guilty after talking to you guys. Thank you guys so much for doing this. Laura Lee, we really, really appreciate you coming on and showering us with all of your wisdom. This was really insightful and really lovely.
That
was
was so
really
fun.
So fun.
Thank you so much for having me. And I'm just so honored to be with such lovely, strong moms out there. And
Guys,
and
we
I'm
are
happy to
doing
anytime.
it. We
Yeah,
are doing
well,
it.
everybody
Ruchi,
needs
Gupta-
one of you, Laura. You even need one
Yeah.
of you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes.
I was going to air high five you, Ruchi, because we did it and we made it happen. I mean, you were on a beach the whole time, which was really lovely.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just, you look
Gonna go
tanner
jump
already. We are going to be back on the second Wednesday of every single month. So make sure that you follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Babies First by Fair. And if you guys have any questions that you want to submit to us, you can do that on Facebook and Instagram, or you can hit us up on our website at babiesfirst.org. And there's a call to action over there where you can type in your questions. And every single month, we're going to be back with a new exciting guest talking about new exciting mom topics. And to not overuse the word exciting, I'm excited about it. Right, guys? I'm so excited. Thank you guys so much for watching /listening, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.